Welcome back. It's Tammy with Frou-frou Studio, and I'm excited to be back with another episode of I Saw It on Pinterest. If you're new to my channel, I do have a playlist of all of these that I have done so far that you can check out on my channel. Basically what I do is I search through Pinterest. I find something that interests me, and then I kind of make my version of that particular pin to fit whatever project I'm working on, or to build up my ephemera stash if I don't have a particular journal going at the moment. Today's pin is by Tami Jackson, and it is kind of page pockets, and I need this for my butterfly journal, and so I'm going to kind of do my version of this and to fit into the journal. Now, if you do go to look for this, it's in, I've got it pinned. I have a folder that is called Junk Journaling, and I have it pinned there. But if you go to view, the only thing here, again, is the actual picture. It does not give a trace to a home site where you can go to see how it's made or anything like that. So, I'm going to be going by this picture and kind of, altering my dimensions or whatever based on my page size. So I'm going to set this aside over here, and then I'm going to pull in the journal so you can see what page I'm going to work with, and then we'll get started making the page, or making the pockets to put on the page. I do have a couple of videos out on this one already. We did this one the other day. And today, I still haven't decided what I'm doing with this page. But today, I'm going to focus on these two big blank pages right here. And so the one that I want to put this particular pocket page on is this one. And so the papers and things that I have picked out to make my pockets and so forth, kind of go with this page. So I picked this picture because there is a picture stuck in one of the pockets, and I thought this looked, like maybe a class or something like that. And if you remember, my backstory for this is based on a audiobook that I listened to about a girl who collected butterflies and moths to pay her way through school. And this is her over here, right here, and I have named her Charlie. So this journal is Charlie. And I thought this girl in the center looked very similar to her. And so that's why I picked this picture. And this is just one of the Tim Holtz pictures. So it's not an original photograph or anything like that. All right, back to the page. So you can see this is kind of a, I'm not sure how well it's coming out on camera, but it's like a goldish yellow color, and it's a thicker paper. It's like a resume paper. It's thicker than regular copy paper, but it's not cardstock. So that's going to be our back. And then the larger pocket that is in the back, I believe I'm going to make out of this. And this is a Tim Holtz backdrop. The two smaller pockets in the front, I'm going to make out of this. And then there are 2 tags, and I'm going to use this paper, which is by Prima, I believe. Let me double check that. I don't want to tell you wrong. Yes, it's Prima, and it's called Botanical Script. So basically, I'm going to, you know, make the 2 tags for the pockets out of this. And I liked it because it has the yellow and the kind of teal color, which, you know, we're using in the journal. So I'm going to use that for the tags. I'm going to use this for the journal card that is also in the pocket. And that one, I think it's from the same, although it doesn't feel, yeah, I think that one's from the same pack. Is it? I'm sorry, that's not Prima, that's Dress My Craft. It's this one. This one is Prima. Okay. Telling you wrong. Okay. And then I need 2 tabs. And I'm going to cut them out of this. And we're also going to, when we cut the tabs, kind of go to another pen that I have to do something different with the tabs. Okay? So, that's everything we're going to do. And I'm going to mark this really quick. I want just a little bit of edge of the yellow showing. So, I'm going to give it a quick mark. So, I think if I cut it about right there, and then cut it about right here, I'm going to have what I want. So let's do that. I'm going to move this out of the way so we have more room. Alright, and let me get my trimmer. I'm going to try to trim it on here even though my blade is very dull at the moment. So I can't do it on this, so I'll have to go around and, oh yeah, it's gonna work. If it was regular paper, I'd be more concerned with it not working well. But with this cardstock, it's gonna be fine, I think. Alright, where's my mark? Although that is not straight. Okay, and you can see I just kind of eyeballed that, but if you're interested, it ends up being about almost 3.5 that way, and let me look on my board here, 8 inches the other way. Alright, so now we need to cut the 2 little pockets that go in the front, and I want those to be just a little bit shorter. On both sides. So if I cut that here, so we'll cut that first. Maybe I can cut it straight this time. Okay, and then, so that will go like that. And then I'm going to cut it about right here. You see my technical measuring here. And then I'm going to just make myself a mark kind of in the middle and just cut it in half. Okay, let's see what that looks like. So that will be there. And that will be there. Actually, other way around, so the words don't look weird. Alright, so that is that part. Now we need to cut our tags and our journal card. So for our tags, we want them, let's try to cut this right in half and see if that gives us. And these are 6 by 6s. So if we cut it at 3 inches, didn't get the very end there. Actually, I think I'm going to go a little narrower because I'm going to cut the length, and it's going to be too square looking, I think, if I don't do that. So I'm going to cut them down to 2.5. Again, really have to get a new blade. And then I'm going to cut them to about right here, I think. Where's my book? I want to make sure they're gonna fit on the page okay. I'm pretty sure they will. So if I cut them to that line, yeah, they should be fine. Alright, we can always trim them down if not. Then I'll just use my scissors and cut the other one. Alright. So that's all of our pieces except for our tabs, and we'll address those in a bit. So let's get these. I'm almost feeling like these could be a little narrower. Not narrower, but not as high. I'm going to take just a tad off that. I'm going to go like right at that line right here. Okay. Oh, and we need to do our journal card. So our journal card can actually stay 6. And let's go maybe 4. No, a little less than 4. So it'll go back behind like that. And then our photo will go in here like that. And then we're going to have our pockets here, and then our tags. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Alright, let's get some finishing work done, and then if, like I said, if we need to trim some stuff after we get it done, we can do that. Alright, so these need to have the corners rounded and the notch put in, and I'm going to do them both at the same time, so if they're in the same place. Okay, and let's round the corners. Where's my corner rounder? There's that one. Oh, let's see if it'll do this one. Sometimes this one doesn't like thicker paper. If you have a die that cuts like those little journal cards, like in the Tim Holtz Chapter 3 stuff, you could probably cut these out of using that die, and then just notch it. That'd save you some time. Okay, and then these we're gonna round. Okay, and then this one, we're gonna make a tag. So I'm gonna get my little corner cutter here. And then we're gonna poke our hole. Actually, I might want to. I'm thinking the one in the picture actually has grommets. So let's see if I have nearby I'm looking in my little, I've got a little stash of little die cuts up here. Got little tags. Somewhere I have some of those Tim Holtz, you know, where I cut the holes, but I don't know where they are at the moment. So maybe mean, I could just use my regular ones, I guess. And maybe do a contrasting color. Let's do ground espresso. I'll go ahead and do a few that color while I've got it out. Actually, I'm going to do aged mahogany because excuse me when I find my distract things here. Because I'm going to make the tabs out of this, and I kind of want to pull out that color, that bricky kind of color. And these are pastel applicators, but they're really good for these inks too. All right, I'm going to give that a few minutes to dry while I am in the distress inks. I only have in the small ones. I have all of the oxides on the big ones, but the distress inks I don't use as often, and so I just invested in the small ones for those. So while that's happening, I'm going to ink around some of the stuff. And I think I am going to use the ground espresso, the darker. I love the way Tim Holtz papers ink up, which I'm sure that was his plan, but they really look good when they're inked. This is a fairly simple pocket, or double pocket, or triple pocket, or whatever you want to call it, but I think it's very effective. I think it's, you know, got the layers and the, around the corners of this journal card as well, so I don't bend it all up trying to pick it up. And I'm going to round the corners of the picture, maybe. That way we get a cohesive look for the whole kit and caboodle. And I'm going to rough that picture up a little bit. Sorry for my reach. Okay, and I'm going to take a sanding disc. Just hit it just a little bit here and there. Just to kind of fade it out a little. And ink it. I'm going to put ground espresso around the edges, and then I'm going to come back in with some vintage photo. And kind of hit the face a little bit. Not the faces, but the face of the frame. Okay. Kind of hit those areas that I sanded. And it'll put a little bit of that color on there. And then I'm going to bang the edges on my table. I'm going to abuse this poor picture. But when you do this, you get like a natural aging. You know what would occur if this were a really old photo. Kind of bends them up and makes it look more authentic. Okay? Alright, now let's see if these are dry enough to put on here. Alright, so we need some kind of string or something to put in there. Ugh, I've got one of those dots stuck to my finger. Sorry about that. Okay, string. Do I have any string over here? I do not. So we'll have to grab that later. Alright, so now we need to address putting this all together. Oh, I didn't ink that, did I? Or it doesn't look like I did anyway. Alright, we need these to be glued on here. Which way do we want it? Like that, I think. Move it up so you can see. So we want those to be pretty evenly spaced. So if I line them up with that line on the bottom there, I think that'll be good. So I'm going to use art glitter glue so I can get a little bit of skinny line, so we have enough room for our tags. I'm not going to put a notch here, but I am going to, the pin appears to be stitched around, and as we all know, I do not do that. So I can either use my little zigzag stamp here and put a zigzag stitch around it, or I can take my little micro pen and do straight stitching, which is what I might do. So let me see which one I want to use. That one, I think. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make some little hashes. Did I even ask you guys how you were doing? Probably not. I was so excited to get started. I don't have anything exciting going on at the moment other than working on journals, which is always exciting. Finally getting a little bit caught up from being gone on our trip. Sorry guys, I know this is not very exciting. Feel free to fast forward through this part. Okay, so there's that one. Now, did they stitch? They did not stitch around these pockets, so we'll leave those. Okay, so I think that's that part. That just gives another little piece. I mean, it's totally not necessary, and it's definitely not necessary if it's me in a sewing machine, because that's just not going to happen. So these are going to go in here. And then the journal card is going to go back here. And then the picture also goes back here. So that's what I'm wondering. Do we need to make those tags a little shorter so that they're not... I think I will cut them off a little bit. I don't want them to be too square looking, but at the same time, I don't want them to... I want you to be able to see the interesting stuff behind them. So let's see if this is better. Yeah, that's a little better, isn't it? All right, so now we need our tabs. Now, what I'm going to do for the tabs, like I said, is I'm going to use this paper. And it's not going to take a whole lot. I need two. I need one for the picture and one for the journal card. The original pen has whale tails, and I do not have a whale tail punch. But that is where I'm going to incorporate this other pen and try to do something a little different with the regular tabs, which I actually prefer. I actually prefer this shape as opposed to the whale tail, but I know I'm probably about the only one. All right, I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to leave a little gap at the top so that it will, when it cuts, it'll be, you know, folded over. So see, now we have our two sides. And I need one more. Okay. Now, the other pen, let me pull it up here so I can tell you. It is from the Graphics Fairy, and they've embellished just regular tags. And this is from Diana at Dreams Factory, and she has embellished these little shaped tags with like buttons and strings and stuff like that, and I think they're really cute. And she has, on the Graphics Fairy, there is a free downloadable template for these that has a bunch of, most of them look French inspired tabs, And also the digital flowers are on here if you want those. And so if you're interested in, you know, like a French inspired look, you can go to the Graphics Fairy and look this up and get that. Okay, so I have this little scrap piece of, this is actually quilt backing from an old cutter quilt that I have, and it is super fragile, and actually I already tore a piece, so I'm going to use that piece that I've already tore, but I think it's really good for this. So you take a piece of fabric, whatever you have. I think she said that she used gauze and duck cloth, I believe, for hers. Okay, and then I have some cheesecloth here, and I'm going to take a little bit of that. Cut it from this end. Okay, and then some string, and this is just a, most of the string came from denim when I was working with denim, and I just kept it because, you know, it's good string, guys. It's all crumpled up and together. So I'm going to take a little piece of that for each one. Don't even need that much. There and there. And then I've got two little buttons to put on there. And then I believe I am going to take, in addition to what they did, because my background is a darker background, I'm going to put like a little label or number or something on there. If I can find one small enough. Maybe like that. Something like that. Yeah, I think that still work. Just to give it another little layer. Alright, so basically what you're going to do is you're going to glue these to this. Like that. So we want to kind of pull this apart and grunge it up a little bit. Where's my glue book? I keep losing my glue book, guys. So if we just hit it with the dauber just a little bit. I tell you what not to do before you start filming. Do not eat a peanut butter sandwich. I ate just like half a peanut butter sandwich, and I went to turn the camera on, and I was choking on peanut butter. So I had to wait a few minutes and try to wash some of that peanut butter down. Such a goof. Now be careful when you're doing this, guys, and don't stick your front to your back when you're doing this part. I'm going to lay it out like that so I don't do that. Because, you know, I can say, don't do this, and then I'll do it. I'm going to put some antique linen on that, I think. Kind of yellow it up a little bit. Ooh, too much. Here we go. And put my little string on here with my button. And clamp that down for a minute while we do the other one. I tell you, the instant I start working with this 3-in-1 glue, all right. Look, everything starts sticking. Ugh, drives me crazy. And you can't keep it off your fingers. There's no way. I've tried and tried and tried. I was like, you know, I'm not going to get it on my fingers this time. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. It's just not going to happen. All right. Make sure I'm not doing that upside down. Alright, so this one should be okay now. Let's clamp this one a minute. And I just had an idea about this journal card. This is going to go on here like this, which I think is totally cute and gives that little tab a whole different look. But I'm thinking that I want a softer look. Look at that behind that. And so I'm wondering if I could take just like a piece of coffee dyed paper if I have some over here, or like this, and just kind of trim it really close. Of course, if I do that, then you're not going to be able to write on the back of it. So I definitely need coffee dyed paper. Hold on just a second. Let me grab a piece. Okay, this is just lined coffee dyed paper. I think I'm just going to rip it so it has a rough edge. Of course, at the top, it really doesn't matter if it has the hangover, but we'll leave it. Okay. So let's squeeze that down real quick. I mean, it had a perfectly good writing space on the back of it, but I just wanted kind of a softer edge to it. Okay, like that. Strings everywhere. Alright, let's move this back out of the way. Here's all my little scrappy pieces. Get the strings that are stuck on my fingers off. Alright, so let's put our little tab on here. I think we want one on this side and one on the other side for the picture. Alright, and then the one on the picture. Oh, I can't wait to go wash my hands. There we go. And I think I'm going to actually use that same quilting stuff to make my little, just something to put in that, in those things. See if I can get, that one's not long enough. More strings to save in my little string bundle. Just double knotting it. There we go. Okay, let's put it on the page and we'll be done. I'm not sure how long we've been gabbing, or I've been gabbing here. Alright, here's our journal. Here's our page. So, this is basically just going to glue on like this. And we're going to glue at the bottom and two sides. And the reason this is sticking up so much is I have all the ephemera that I've already made stuck in the back of it. So it normally would not be like that. Felt like there was something else in there, but I guess not. Okay, so there is our page glued down, and then we have our journal card. which, you know, may need something on the front here. Probably a butterfly, or maybe a butterfly stamp or something. But for now, I'm just gonna stick it in there. And then there is our photograph. We're gonna stick that in there. Like so. And I still wish that those tags in the front were a little lower. So I may end up cutting those off just a little bit more. We'll see how I feel about it. I'll let it settle in like that for a little bit. But I think they're gonna have to be a little shorter. So there we go. There is our this week's I Saw It on Pinterest. Hope you guys enjoyed that. That was really fun one. I really do like the doing the tabs like that. I think that's really cute. So you got a 2 for today. Two I Saw It on Pinterest and 1. But sometimes that's the way that it works. I'll address this side later, but I'm thinking it might be a good place to pull in some more of the marbled paper that we used. This paper over here, maybe do an envelope, maybe a policy envelope or something like that. I don't want to take up all the writing space, obviously, but I think that would be a good spot to pull a little bit of this in, even if it's just a, you know, another journal card. I like this paper, and I think it goes well with everything else, even though it's a little bit different style. I think the colors go really well. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that, and let me know what you think, and I will see you guys back on Friday for the 50 Stack Challenge 2 that is hosted by Amy, a Crafty Cat. So until then, everybody continue to have a great week, and I will see you back tomorrow. Bye.